What is going on, everyone? And in this video I'll be giving you my UFC Vegas 30 co-main and main event prediction for the upcoming event taking place Saturday, June 26th on ESPN Plus. Main event should definitely be a banger. I'm really looking forward to that. I think that has the most stakes. The rest of the fights, there are some fights here and there that are pretty decent, but obviously I think we're all looking forward to the main event of the evening. I'm not going to go over the previous event just because didn't have time to put everything together for that and obviously talk about it, doing this pretty late. But either way, I'll make sure to get it in there the next week, and I'll keep adding different things like that just to make it a little bit more content. And I'll figure out some things, obviously, the more and more I do this and get back into the old ways of doing things. So with that being said, let's go ahead and I'll show you guys my picks, and then we'll talk about the co-main event, and then we'll talk about the main event of the evening. So we move on into the co-main event of the evening. We have Tanner Boser taking on OSP, Ovince St. Preux. And for this fight, again, not really one of the most entertaining fights I think in the world, or most exciting fights. Obviously they're fighters and they would kill all of us, but regardless, I don't think it's the best fight on the card. I don't think it's the best fight put together. Both guys really aren't coming off impressive victories or anything like that. You've got Tanner Boser, who fought recently against Ilir Latifi, and he lost that fight via a split decision in a fight kind of where I feel like he was doing pretty well on the feet, but when it came to getting taken down, I mean, he just didn't have an answer for that, and that's just unfortunate. And then against Andrei Arlovski, he lost via decision, unanimous. Kind of a guy you want to be knocking out if you want to take it to the next level in the heavyweight division. You kind of need to knock out Andrei Arlovski, so that's a little concerning. And then he defeated some couple guys with TKO and KO, but no big names here and there. He did fight Ciryl Gane. He lost that fight via decision. So I guess what you could say is when he's fighting like top level competition, at least he's not getting knocked out or anything like that. And then obviously move on to OSP. He's coming off that loss against Jamal Hill via TKO, where I wouldn't say that was one of the cleanest fights for either guy. Even Hill, I mean, the shots that he was kind of landing, I feel like at any moment he could have been countered and knocked out. It really was kind of a sloppy exchange, and obviously OSP was kind of just trying to look for one shot. He really wasn't trying to put anything together. He did land some really good leg kicks in that fight, and he tends to do stuff like that where he'll go to the body with the leg kicks or anything like that, and it'll definitely work. But his cardio and his shot selection is a little bit questionable. I think he definitely tries to look for that one shot KO. We've seen him do it before with the head kicks and stuff like that, but against someone who's going to actually be in there not swinging wildly and just kind of leaving themselves open for some big counters, I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult to one shot what some of these guys, especially when you have OSP where he's not really like bouncing up and down or anything like that. He kind of plots forward and he looks to pick his one shot and he hopes that take you out with it. For Tanner Boser, I think his boxing is pretty decent. I think on the feet, he's obviously, I think he's going to have the more volume. He's definitely going to be like the guy bouncing back and forth and getting in the face of OSP. I would look for OSP to hit him with a counter, so Tanner Boser has to be careful for that. But if anything, I can see Boser either getting caught with like one big shot if he gets a little bit too crazy, or I can kind of see Boser kind of just picking apart OSP. And now Boser has to be aware of the takedown, but it's just all dependent on whether or not OSP is able to hold him down or really just drag him down and let Boser not get back up. But I guess that's the game plan, right? Because that's what worked against Boser. He really wasn't able to get back up after he's been taken down. And for OSP, he does have some wrestling, so I would look for OSP to probably grapple with him. Now, whether that works or not, we'll have to see. But I gotta go Tanner Boser. I just feel like he's gonna have a little bit more more of a way to win on the feet. He's not just looking for one shot. Maybe he tries to hit him with a lot of volume, and we'll have to see. He's pretty good cardio and things like that. Again, he's not one of those heavyweights where, you know, dude like throws, you know, like 2 minutes of the round in, and then he kind of starts gassing out because he threw everything he had and it was not very technical. So I'll look for Tanner Boser on this one. Yeah, it's a sketchy fight, but I'll go Tanner Boser to defeat OSP. I'll take him to win by a decision. Let's move on into the main event of the evening. We have Ciryl Gane taking on Alexander Volkov. And I think right off the bat, the obvious thing that stands out to me is, you know, Volkov is 33-8, Ciryl Gane is 8-0. So you obviously have one person with the MMA experience, but then at the same time, when you look at Gane, especially if you watch him in his last fight against Jairzinho Rozenstruik, you know, he's a dangerous fighter. Obviously, we see him in his last fight. He's a dangerous fighter. So for Gane to go in there and kind of pick him apart, he's gonna fight his game, and I think that's very important. It might not be the most exciting game you've seen, and who knows, you know, he's probably just getting obviously better with time. But Ciryl Gane, he's a kickboxer. He knows how to point fight. He knows how to keep that distance. You know, he knows what he needs to do. He doesn't get careless. He doesn't get wild in there. He has really good volume, really good cardio. He's jacked, but he's not one of those guys who, you know, he's just looking to knock you out or something like that. He'll definitely throw it to the body. He'll go for the kicks, and he might even go for a takedown here because Volkov has struggled with takedowns. Granted, Volkov has gotten back up against some of these takedowns, so that he has against some of the other fighters. So for like example, Curtis Blades, when he lost that fight, you know, obviously got taken down. But, you know, it's one of those things where I don't think it goes to the floor, though. I don't think we see Gane shooting in takedowns, you know, every 10 seconds or something like that. I really don't think that's going to be the case. But I do think Gane is going to definitely try to play it safe, you know, whereas I feel like Volkov's probably going to be the more aggressive fighter here. He might be the guy, you know, trying to press forward a lot more. But then again, I think if Volkov gets a little too aggressive, he's definitely going to be open to some of these counters that I feel like Gane can set. And that should be an interesting thing to see. Both guys have really high output. Alexander Volkov tends to eat a little bit more shots, though, than Gane. And I think that goes again to the thing of Gane, where he's definitely a very safe, technical fighter, where he'll pick his shots and he'll try to set things up versus hurting you and then just rushing in like a crazy man with his hands down and just swinging wildly. You know, he's not one of those guys. He's a very composed heavyweight, and that's kind of refreshing to see in a division where, you know, you have guys where they go out on their shield or they literally get, you know, granite chin like Derek Lewis or something like that, where, you know, he's not really looking to do anything fancy. He's going out there to knock you out. But Gane and Volkov are two pretty decent heavyweights that don't really fit that typical heavyweight thing of like gassing out after the first round because they threw everything they had and it looked like they were just throwing haymakers. So it's going to be an interesting fight, but I do think Gane, I just feel like I feel like he's the more safer fighter to pick here because I just feel like he's going to set traps, man. I feel like he's going to set something up for Volkov, and Volkov's going to throw something and he's going to start getting tagged pretty badly, but we'll have to see how it goes. Again, this is one of those fights where whoever wins needs to do something impressive because you need to put your name out there. I think Volkov doesn't really have to do that as much as if Gane wins this fight, because Gane, coming off of that decision victory against Jairzinho Rozenstruik, albeit it was an impressive victory, it's just not going to, you know, no one wants to be like, I won the title, you know, after I had 4 decisions in a row. Like, that's just not probably what a lot of people are going to remember if, you know, any casual fan even remembers Gane fighting Rozenstruik. I bet they remember him fighting Dos Santos, winning that fight, but the other fights, you know, oh, he fought Tanner Boser, you know, you don't even remember some of the fights that he had if you're not one of those fans that really looks into these kind of things. So I really like Ciryl Gane, though. I really do. I feel like he's going to play the safe. He just has so many ways to win, you know. He can definitely have that power to knock you out, but he's so comfortable with just winning a decision. So it'll be interesting to see what he decides to do here and how he handles Volkov's aggression. So I do think Volkov's a good dog, but I have to go with Ciryl Gane on this one. I feel like he's going to be the more tactical fighter. He'll be the safer fighter, and he'll do whatever he needs to win this fight. And he's not going to engage in just wild exchanges or anything like that. Or I don't see him folding under the pressure. So I'll go Ciryl Gane. I'm going to take him to win by KO TKO in round number 3, just because I think he knows he needs to get a finish. I think he needs to put away Volkov pretty convincingly. And if he's able to do that, you know, he's definitely going to be right there for the title. So that'll do it, guys, for my UFC Vegas 30 predictions. I appreciate it. Hope you guys like the video. Hope you guys subscribe, and I hope you guys leave some comments down below. Tell me what you think. You know, who do you have winning in the main event? Who do you have winning in the co-main event? Just let me know. Just tell me anything you want MMA related. We got some pretty good stuff coming up for MMA. I think, you know, UFC 264. It's gonna be a lot of hype in the media again, and I think just, you know, we start getting these fights rolling out, and more live events and all that stuff, and I think they'll get out of the COVID stuff, and fighters won't be, you know, getting sick every or whatever, you know, every event there's like 3 fights that disappear or something like that. So I hope they start putting together a lot of events and they kind of get back on the schedule. But like I said, we'll see what happens. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.